And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, for a deciding game number 3. It's LGD Gaming versus Invictus. Best of 3 goes the distance. Game 1 was a beatdown from IG, but Game 2 was a spanking from LGD. And now, I guess the question is, who's going to have the upper hand here? Our Game 3 draft is underway. Of course, bringing you all the action. I'm LD from Beyond the Summit, and I have the pleasure, the honor, to be joined here today by Zyori.
Woo, lots of good Dota today as the Starletter Season 11 Chinese section is coming to an end, and I still don't know who's going to take this one. I was thinking about who would my rares be on, and I simply don't know. And, of course, draft going to be a big piece of this one. Burning still getting a pick that he's comfortable with, the Juggernaut. They're going to go back to what they know. This was the opener that IG had in game number 1 where they found huge success. So we'll see if it works out for him this go-around, but LGD, they get the Phoenix this time, as well as the Storm Spirit, which actually made it through despite being banned out in games 1 and 2.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend ban. Interesting. LGD will get their hands on it. Now, as good as Storm is, it's not as though the hero has no counters. One of the big ones is Silencer. God damn it, I was just about to say that. The Chinese teams really do love their Silencer, though. I think they go for this more than anything. And man, what a Silencer game! Not just for the Storm, but also for the Phoenix. It's a great pick here for IG, and almost too good. I feel like LGD had to have realized that this hero would be a possible pick, and maybe they have something prepared to deal with him. He is not good at counter pushing. He does need his levels. And he doesn't have a proper stun, so perhaps they can find ways to abuse that, but for now, I just look at the Silencer and I'm like, wow, he hard counters both of their cores so far.
Yep, Storm does not like silences, and Phoenix, if you haven't seen the mechanic out there, folks, last word is the absolute, just the trump card for Phoenix and his little Icarus dive to get away. You hit him with the last word, the Icarus dives out, he gets silenced, then he goes whoop right back to where he started and ends up being an easy kill. So that laning phase for the Phoenix will not be very much fun if they can match up the silencer appropriately. But here LGD take a support that's nice and safe, especially on the dire side. Your Vengeful Spirit, a little minus armor to give you that Roshan control.
Yeah, it's a good, solid, well-rounded support pick. You do look at LGD and feel like they're very reliant on their kind of single target pick-off here with the Storm Venge. They have the egg, not much to go with it, and the tree was banned, so we're not going to see that combo anymore. The Phoenix tree, at least for this game, it's out the window. What's the fourth pick now for IG? They have their Burning Juggernaut. I doubt it's a core Silencer. I guess they could run an off-lane Jug, throw the Silencer safe lane, and switch things up. I mean, of all the games to run it, if you're up against a core Phoenix and Storm, core Silencer this might be one of the better ones, but I still think more likely this is one of their supports. And in that case, what do you think we're going to see here for 430 and Luo?
I was just thinking, what's your 430 hero going to be this game? The Ember Spirit, as we saw earlier, could be an option for him here. He has played Viper occasionally over the last month or so when a lot of his comfort picks have been taken out. I'm trying to think who fares well against Storm that he likes to play.
There's Razor, Viper's a good one. Now, these are mostly heroes that are good in the laning stage. Later on, I wouldn't really say they counter him.
It could be an okay game for Viper, though, if he wanted to do that in the lane. Get a little edge early on and try and stay aggressive. This could be another one of these games where they try the boots first Juggernaut as well. Kind of depends on what LGD come up with these next few picks, but they may look to try to snowball Burning on that front as we saw in game 1, even though their initial aggression didn't really work and he had to resort to the more classic farming style. That early aggression can still be quite potent if you're not ready for the boots first Jug.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they want to do here, I guess, for IG. On the side of LGD, looking to round out their draft, they will be looking in turn for one of their cores, probably the safe laner. The other thing is, if you do pick a Viper or a Razor to quote-unquote counter a Storm, they could always run them safe lane. That's something IG have to keep in mind. Storm, a very solid safe lane farmer. And now they go Shaker. So either, let's see, what is this? Is this a core Silencer for Burning? Offlane Jug? Is this going to be an offlane Shaker? Support Silencer? Core Jug? I don't think we're gonna see a silencer mid as a farmer.
This is so open-ended for IG.
LGD are gonna look at this and maybe not be sure what to expect. If I had to guess, I would say core silencer, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, nor I. Now, the Lycan pick from LGD is interesting here. Dire side, as we've already mentioned, you get that Roche control of the Venge, so a little bit of added incentive to pick up the Lycanthrope here. Great pushing. Of course, the split pushing as well. Earthshaker, very good at dealing with that.
And they have Sylar. Sylar is the best Lycan player in China, bar none. He is exceptional on the hero, so I like this pick. And the other thing is, it's a good hero against Silencer. What does Lycan care about getting global? As long as he pops his ultimate, he's running around munching on people, man. This is a nice pick from LGD.
I think so as well. Now, this last pick from IG should be pretty telling, and this one is very hard to predict what they want here, and who's going to be playing what. I'm trying to think of who's most likely to play the Silencer. They don't really have a player that comes to mind for me that's, yes, there's your Silencer player. And they pick up the Medusa. So,
okay. What is it? Is it offlane Shaker? Is it offlane Jug? I think those are the two main possibilities. They could run some dual lanes here. Medusa mid, Shaker plus. I think Silencer offlane, maybe Jug plus Lion safe lane. I'm kind of thinking that direction, but I don't know, man. This is. It feels like they're just trying to scramble last minute as they see the LGD picks.
My guess is Medusa mid for 430, Burning Jug safe lane, and then Earthshaker Silencer dual off lane with Luo on the Silencer. But it's actually going to be Luo on the Shaker here. So
that was a good guess, though. That was actually what I was thinking as well. But then my only hesitation was I don't really know if Luo is a Silencer player.
I don't think I've ever seen him play it. But at the same time, I haven't really seen Faith play Silencer all that much either. So.
Okay, this is something unusual here from IG. Now we're gonna have to see if they can make it work.
Well, you said it at the end of the last game, LD. They got to go back to the drawing board, try something a little different. Even just a 430 Medusa, I think, is a pretty big rarity. Looking at his history here, I don't see any Medusa picks, at least not in the last month or so. So this is a pretty big change of pace for the team.
Yeah, I'm sure he's grinded it in pubs, but yeah, as far as competitive play, it is not known as a 430 here. If anything, it's the burning hero. I remember DAC, it was every game, Big God, their whole strategy was get burning Dusa and just farm, man. Eventually he'll get 6 slotted, eventually they can't kill the Dusa. There was that one game, oh God, it was against Cloud9, where Big God just kept on turtling, and eventually a turtle, was that the no TP game? No, I don't think that. It might have been the no TP game. It was either that or it was just a game where they died without buybacks, and then Big God just marched down mid and just ended the game and thrown it. I think that was the no TP game, but regardless, it was. It's a burning hero more than anything as far as I look at it. So it'll be interesting to see this. To be fair, I'm sure 430 is capable on the hero.
He's only played it 4 times on this patch in competitive, with a 1-3 record. So it's not a hero that he's been particularly successful on this patch, but. We've seen this kind of style with Medusa mid before. Of course, Mushi is the one that comes to mind that really does this with a lot of confidence. Phase boots into Scotty, that kind of a build. I'll be curious to see if that's something that 430 mimics here. There is an invasion from LGD, though, to get things started. They'll put an observer ward down to block this camp and get a little intel into the jungle. They did smoke up, I believe, to come down here in a pretty timely manner. And it looks like there won't be a first blood skirmish, at least not quite yet.
All right, so let's introduce our teams for our deciding Game 3. I'll do LGD. I'll give you the honors of introducing Invictus Gaming. We've got Momoya, MMY, playing your Vengeful Spirit. Maybe going to be on the Storm, one of the hottest up-and-coming talents in China. Sylar, at this point, I guess, as established veteran, will be playing your Lycan. Xiao playing his support Zeus again and reprising his role on that hero. We'll have Yao as the offlane Phoenix to round things out for LGD. And looks like the first D ward here was a whiff for Team IG.
Yep. Unfortunate for Invictus Gaming, but they will have Chuan on the Lion here in the safe lane, burning on his Juggernaut, farming away down safe lane as well. Faith here on the support Silencer. That puts Ferrari 430 solo mid on the Medusa, and that leaves Luo in a solo offlane Earthshaker role. We've seen this a little bit. I wouldn't say too commonly, but not the craziest thing ever.
It's Yoki's go-to, offlane Shaker. We see it a lot from Empire, but
I would say it's lukewarm. I mean, you can control the lane kind of like Clockwork does, but you see right here, MMY already zoning him out really hard, and I don't think Luo is going to find too much out of this laning stage.
You don't run the Shaker off lane to win your lane. The goal here for IG will simply be get levels when possible, and the cool thing is kind of like a Clockwork with Cogs, you can just keep on fissuring to draw the lane back. So he has guaranteed some experience, and with that, he may just look to set up ganks. We often see Yoki, when he's playing this, just roam towards mid a lot, try to control the runes. It's a potential kill on Storm. Medusa not really the best hero to follow up the fissure, but there's some slight kill potential, especially if they bring in the Chuan Lion. And speaking of which, Andrew, he's already bought a smoke. It's in his stash. So we may see Chuan with the Shaker in the offlane for Luo make an early move on mid, and wouldn't that be sweet for IG if they can bring down maybe to get this game started the right way for IG?
Yeah, absolutely. This mid lane is fairly even, though Storm is finding an advantage. The Howl from the Lycan, probably what's tipping the scales. He's sitting 9-3 compared to the 5-2 Ferrari here. So off to a pretty good start. Ferrari going for 2 points in the Mystic Snake at level 3. So looking to perhaps be a little more aggressive here, harass with that Snake, and try and steal as much mana as he can from Maybe, so that he has to think twice about that mana pool once he hits 6 and starts zipping around. Chuan will get the bounty rune down bottom. Looks like up top, the invisibility will be snagged up by MMY's Vengeful Spirit.
I believe this was scouted by the Earthshaker, and it is a deuce of mid, so you can say 430, just doesn't care. It's like, great, come at me. You're not killing me. I'm a Deusa. In the meantime, where's the Radiant Courier? Oh, it's off in their jungle. It looks like MMY wants to snipe this. He's anticipating that 430 may pick up a bottle, but or at least some item, but in fact, his Bassi is back in the stash. The Invis is going to wear off, it looks like, before the Courier even gets here, so it'll, unfortunately, most likely be an airball for MMY on this first rotation. And that's the thing about the Deuce in mid. Sure, she doesn't gank a whole lot, she's not the best rune controller, but she's almost impervious to being ganked, barring an incredibly aggressive lineup, and already 4 with a completed Aquila inbound. He's very unlikely to die.
Yeah. Comparing the offlaners here, Luo closing in on level 3, chewing through his last clarity now with that Ring of Regen in tow. The Phoenix getting next to nothing. Halfway through level 1, and you see Faith down in the bottom lane, spamming that last word, and there's just nothing the Phoenix can do at this point. Just forced to play defensive, try not to concede a death, and leech wherever possible, but still 0-0, not even getting close enough to creeps to think about a last hit. Here's your smoke rotation, though. Yeah, Luo and Chuan ready to make it happen in the mid. Maybe only level 4. If he presses just a little more forward into the lane, they'll go for it. Never mind, they'll just go for it straight up. Fissure block out. There's your Earth Spike, Hex, and this is an easy pickoff. Ferrari will be the one to draw your first blood and get that sweet, sweet bonus gold.
What a time to go gank it as well. This top lane was being pushed in, and Yoki... I called him Yoki because he's an off-lane shaker. Luo on the shaker is getting his levels. This is why the off-lane shaker is pretty legit. He's already level 3. And even if you don't get a whole lot of farm, you can buy these super cheap items. The Soul Ring, the Tranquil Boots. And with that, it's very unlikely that you won't be able to farm them. It's not like going for Arcane Boots or trying to farm up a Blink right away where, you know, you have to save for a while, got to get a 4-digit amount of gold before you pick up an item. And as a result, already the Soul Ring recipe coming out, he's picked up a regen rune. And I think what we'll see from him is he'll kind of play as a pseudo support right now and just keep on pressuring mid. Currently, no high ground ward for Maybe. He may get trapped here by a fissure, though they're going to need the +1, which is Chuan, making his way in. No dire vision of this. Their ward does not scout it. It's an unusual ward that doesn't see the rune, and this may end up costing them. They actually have no rune ward at all. They've got 2 wards in very unconventional locations.
Yeah. The lane ward up top has sort of been a backfire because this Earthshaker has gotten a lot done since he's left the lane. He got level 3. They weren't able to kill him, and now he'll just stack the Ancients for the second time after ganking mid. And
he's getting a lot done this game. Stacking Ancients, still getting good levels in the offlane, ganking mid. They got to make something happen for these LGD supports, which they will try for now in 430, but he's got stick charges, and he's just too tanky. They can't get the kill. If that's another mid, maybe he dies. But this is Lady Deusa. You gotta tug on that hair a little longer to bring her down. She's a tough one.
Yeah, you gotta respect the Gorgon here. Maybe soon to be level 6, so this window of what's the right word here, where he's very susceptible to ganks, is going to close, and now he'll be a lot harder to lock down. Can just hop right over that fissure. Ferrari has his phase boots now, so sort of likewise, he's getting a little more harder to gank. Both safe lane farmers getting a lot of space burning with 33 last hits, but it's this Lycan who's really making out big. He's moved around the jungle now, 44 CS. He'll have that Vladimir's offering coming out straight away, and soon to be level 6. And a Sylar Lycan getting this much space, well, I reckon it's just about as scary as a burning Juggernaut getting this much space. So both teams kind of in their comfort zones right now.
If anything, probably more scary, given that he's Dire Side and he has Avenge, so his Roche potential is extremely high. And speaking of that, Sylar, hello, Chuan. That's a cute double damager, and I've got fangs and wolves, and you're dead.
Yeah, Yao comes swooping in, and Phoenix will actually be the one to grab the kill on the Lion. That'll help his bottom line, and Lion didn't go for nothing, though. He gets a ward down in the middle of the jungle and does give IG some good intel into what's going on here. They see Storm clearing out this big stack of creeps, though they're unable to really do much about it. Meanwhile, on the top, Luo getting harassed back by Xiao 8, though no kill attempt will come out here.
Well, with the Storm now, he can clear out a big stack. This is the cool thing about running Storm as one of your cores, is even if he gets shut... Oh, well, this might not be so cool. He's getting scouted out by Faith. They drop down the Observer Ward, but he has the bottle, able to heal up. But yeah, the nice thing is he can catch up well in the jungle, even if he has a terrible start in lane. And, you know, his start wasn't that terrible. He's sitting at 40 CS. He's actually up on the Dusa with the jungle creeps, down in terms of net worth, but keeping it close. It seems like now, Andrew, both teams are going to try to make the most out of the resources on the map. The ganking and aggression may slow down. We're seeing supports take over lanes. Everybody just fiending for their level 6 as quickly as possible.
Yeah, but it's still a very even game here, all tied up 1-1, and the graphs within just a couple hundred of gold or experience, plus or minus, as things continue to fluctuate. Burning at that point now where he has the Morbid Mask, so he can move into the jungle. Mask of Madness on the way, I believe. Yep, on the courier right now. So, like you mentioned, he can sit in the jungle, and now Chuan can just leech and farm, looking for that Finger of Death, and can start making strides towards the Blink Dagger. Late game potential, not surprised to see things a little quiet at this stage. Ferrari getting some really decent CS here in this mid lane and really starting to pull ahead of the Storm Spirit.
Now the smoke bottom. They started off back near their secret shop as LGD make their way down. They don't have a pull on the Storm, so they've really got to find a target that can easily be dealt with here. Silencer would probably be ideal. It is the Chuan Lion they scout out, but unless they get this magic missile, diving him is very risky. There's potential for a Shaker counter gank. A Juggernaut could come flying out of the woods. Right now, there's no wards up for LGD, and I think because of that, they can't just go diving the tower. They're going to have to wait for Hero to leave the safe confines of that tree line and push out, and then maybe they go for a kill. But in the meantime, it's a big time commitment here, and they're wasting quite a bit of time they could be spending farming, stacking, getting wards up elsewhere on the map, and setting up for future engagements.
Yeah, if they were up top, they might be able to knock this tier 1 tower down. The glyph's already come out.
They see Chuan.
Actually, down bottom. There we go. The initiation, and, well, it's a deadline.
Barely even had time to open your mouth, and before you know it, he's dead. But
all right, well, there you go. So it ends up working out, but they did pull Ferrari out of the mid lane to defend up top. So for LGD, it's sort of a victory across the lanes where they get a kill, and this is time Medusa's just slithering around, not really farming and leaving some space.
There's an Echo available. Are they going to go for this? Yes, they are. Luo wants to dunk. Sylar has the ult. Not going to get it off, though. They'll bring him down. That's a big takedown.
Wow.
Though he
That's
does
huge
get
for
the tower.
Shaker. Yeah. Well, still big for the supports here for IG. Chuan now close to level 6, and Luo, he's already halfway through level 7. I guess technically a core in this game, but has his core kit, and now it's just the quest for the Blink Dagger for Luo.
In the meantime, right as that kill happened top, the Storm made another move bottom. He finds a solo kill on the Silencer. The Zeus ult was cooling down, just gets it done by his lonesome. Well played there. Still, overall, losing the Lycan. I think because they get the tower and they get the kill trade, it's about an even trade, but this is where the scales can tip. If LGD can sneak into the Roche pit, and truth be told, one of the great weaknesses of IG's lineup is they don't scout Roche very well. Last game, we saw LGD with Zeus. Well, that's one way to scout it. Bernie can just walk in. Okay, so much for that. But as far as their heroes go, they don't have scouting tools, per se. They don't have a Clockwork Rocket or a Zeus Ultimate, no Venge Wave of Terror. They aren't particularly great at fighting around the pit either. They're a little clunky and slow. a lot of these heroes until they get a blink on the Shaker and the Lion, but
Looks like a free Roche for LGD.
it's a freebie.
IG.
And this
Not
will be
making
a
any movements
this
and-
will be a Storm Aegis as well, most likely.
Yeah. Nice and early, too. 10.5 minutes in. With a Lycan, you expect an early Roche, but this is even on the early side of early Roches here. And, well, Lycan feeling pretty good about that, and now maybe can be pretty bold with the way he chooses the dive here and utilize this Aegis. He's got the Soul Ring already, 1,500 gold towards either an Orchid or a Bloodstone, and they will just rotate bottom. They see Faith, long-range zip behind the trees, and it's a dead silencer, easy as pie with 5 heroes in this lane. I think LGD will just transition into a tier 1 tower push. IG with the same idea here in the mid lane.
You wouldn't know that this guy gave up first blood because he's 3-0 and 3 or 3-1 and 0 with an Aegis, topping the net worth chart. Now 430 pulls slightly ahead after that last creep wave. He's having an excellent time, and a lot of it comes down to the space created by his teammates, especially the Lycan for Sylar. Sure, he dies top, but while he's dying top, he's drawing IG's attention there, and that's what allows Storm to set up for that kill bottom on the Silencer, which precipitated the Roshan attempt. It's all, everything is connected here in this game, and right now IG are on the smoke, looking to find an LGD target. Can they get
But
onto
LGD, they'll
anybody?
smoke up as well. Uh-oh, smoke on smoke action. Who's going to find who? It looks like LGD will take the path around the bottom tier 1.
Do they
They
wanna-
see Ferrari, and they want him.
He's tanky, though. I don't know if that's the hero you want to jump. They need everything to connect to bring him down.
Maybe. Still holding on to an Aegis here. He's now picked up the point booster. If they jump onto Ferrari, they may be upset to find all of his friends nearby. They zip across the tree line. The Vortex is there. Ferrari gets low, but stick charges pick him back up. He'll be okay for now. Icarus dive forward, but Yao gets hexed up.
I don't think... Oh, are they diving this? They're gonna... No. Oh, Sylar.
Sylar's thinking about it. I'm in, I'm out, I'm in. Okay, I'm out. We're not doing it, boys. Let's just go for the tower.
4 hero stun by Luo on his Shaker. That was a beautiful play, and that would be a dangerous dive. There's a global up on Faith now. You go in for that dive. They may have to spend a buyback here or there, but potentially could end up wiping the floor with LGD, at least popping the Aegis, killing off 2 or 3 other heroes. A wise choice by LGD. No need to overcommit there. Yeah, you use the Lycan ult. It's a low cooldown. Ultimately, you've still taken the Roche. You're still in a good position to farm. And you'll have other opportunities. Best to wait for an easier initiation.
Farm on the side of LG is still pretty impressive, though. It feels like LGD has kind of control of this game right now, but it's IG still holding steady. Medusa still topping the net worth chart. Has a Yasha now to go with the phase boot, so 430 getting some farming tools of his own, and Burning moving into that Yasha, doing this very standard Juggernaut build that we see pretty much every game. The disparity is kind of Luo here. He's been the difference maker where he's found really decent farm, actually still ahead of the Phoenix, who's been pretty active 1-0 and 0. Luo is 0-0 and 2 and halfway to that Blink Dagger, and I feel like that is a big turning point for IG once they have that long range initiation and the chance to get some big dunks.
Oh yeah, and it is something they desperately need. They don't have the clockwork. There's no Storm on their team. No hero that quickly farms a blink either, like an Axe who can just retreat to the jungle, or even a Tide Hunter who can clear Ancients. So because of that, until they get these blinks, they're up against the Aegis. They really want to turtle, counter initiate, somewhat play the way LGD did last game, where they just kind of bait you in, wait for that big fight. A very different type of draft, but I think a similar approach that they'll be looking to take here. Just counter-initiating and turtling a bit, at least until this Aegis expires. But on the other side, you've got LGD, who aggressively split push. They pop Hal, and they're going to zip in top lane with the Zeus ult, pull in onto Chuan, double zip, he gets off the Hex! The global comes out, now they look to turn on maybe. I don't even know if they get up once, though. The global turns out not to get a whole lot done, and they'll just walk away. Now global's on cooldown. Aegis still has a little bit of time left. This could be a window for LGD to try and make something happen around the map.
Yeah, not really the best trade to burn that big cooldown to save the Lion, but at the same time, that's a kill that the Storm doesn't get, and this is the make or break time for Storm to some degree in terms of keeping this momentum up or starting to fall behind. Great for maybe he doesn't die there. Really trying to make use of this Aegis. If they don't need that global in the next minute and a half, then well worth it for IG.
Man, Zeus is so good at playing with a lead. Just the dewarding potentially brings... If they're forced to sit back and you can just walk up to a cliff, throw out a lightning bolt, you don't have to spend money on sentries. You can build towards your first big item. Maybe that Force Staff for Shao Wade. Who knows? Perhaps a Midas is the choice. I feel the hero is kind of like Disruptor, where if he's playing from a deficit, he does almost nothing as a support, but when he's ahead, this hero is amazing.
It's a good analogy, actually. Very fitting here. They'll get the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Lycan gets yet another tower kill. Sylar continuing to improve his net worth. Now has the level 1 Necronomicon. And we'll be pulling up for future levels. Looks like he's actually got level 2 Necro Book on the way now. So he's getting there, man. His farm looking very strong. And the Necro Book, always a good item to have against the Medusa. Gives you that mana burn and helps you cut through that pesky mana shield a little more easily.
They want to fight now. They have a fissure. They know that the Aegis is down, but at the same time, they don't have a global, so they fish their way forward mid, but unable to find an easy pickoff. Are going to have to wait for a better opportunity, and the issue for IG right now is they're playing in the dark. LGD have 6 towers up. They have all the map control.
Yep.
And with the wolves as well, that's the other thing that we haven't discussed at all, is not only can they de-ward IG, they've got the Zeus ult to scout, and they have the wolves. And there's no gem on IG
free
yet.
wards.
Yeah. They should have they should be able to keep tabs on IG like all game long, I feel.
Yeah, pretty much. At least for when it counts, they certainly can. You see Sylar farming pretty aggressively here. He's got plenty of backup, and LGD eager to take a fight if they can find the right angle to initiate. The global is cooled down, but that won't deter our Dire side. Maybe very close to his Bloodstone now. Has that Soul Booster. He's had the Soul Ring for quite some while. So he's looking to get that snowball going. Also close to level 11.
It's funny. I don't... Did LGD actually ward block this camp? Did you see? I think I moved over, but wasn't really paying attention.
I don't think so.
I believe Sylar may have just farmed the camp, and then they sentryed to try and de-ward it, thinking that it had been ward blocked. I could be wrong.
He definitely killed it on their way out. I didn't see a ward come down, so I think you're right, but I wasn't keeping close tabs.
If that's the case, then it's even more painful for IG. It's like, not only do they not have vision, now they're trying to de-ward wards that weren't even there. Maybe it got blocked by the wolves or a hero, but man, this is money they simply can't afford to be spending right now. It's a not even really a 5 position silencer for Faith. It's pushing towards like a 6 or 7 position, and he's got nothing. Tranquil Boots, TP, Smoke. That's it. He's poor. And meanwhile, Xiao ain't balling out of control with his Midas. He's swagging towards a very potent mid game here.
Yeah, that's going to be the big scary part. You look at IG, their big cores are still forming very nicely, burning as well as 430. Top in the chart, looking good just behind that of the Lycan. But as this game goes on long, Zeus has one of these power curves where he's really strong early on, mid-game, maybe struggles a little bit while he's trying to get those core items, play catch-up, and then late game, he comes back with a vengeance, and you really feel the effect of that maxed out static field. And with the mana burns and all that kind of stuff, there's going to be big damage output coming the way of IG. I really don't think they can rest on their laurels, even though they have a farming Dusa and Juggernaut.
They bought 5 Sentry Wards just to try and regain control of their map. Faith is sitting on the 6th right now. And they are going to smoke. Maybe can find something here. Chuan, no blink yet, though. This is pre-blink. And he's the one in front, and he gets revealed. Well, gank's over, risky, folks.
Yeah. They don't jump on Chuan, but a very scary time to die. He does grab that bounty room. That puts him now about 100 gold away from his blink. Earthshaker did pick his up just about a minute ago. So now Luo is ready for the big Echo Slams. We'll see what he can get done with it.
Still very much anyone's game. LGD hold the map control. The game is in their hands thoroughly as far as tempo and momentum, but it takes one good global, one good Echo. All of a sudden, everything changes. The gold and experience lead. The gold lead going LGD's way, only 3,000, very minimal, and experience even less. It's more, the only reason it feels like they're far ahead is just because of the map control and the fact that they're just constantly on the offensive, but this could change in a matter of seconds. A lot of it comes down the next Roche top lane. There's your Echo, and maybe they global, so there's no defensive swap, then the Omni comes through, but
he suicides!
He Bloodstone denies. Very well played.
Very nicely done. Ferrari will find a tower kill while that's going on. In the bottom lane, Sylar trying to do some split push. Has his Necro units out. Does about half damage to the tower. Pretty good exchange there. Dusa, though, will grab one of the Necro units. And, well, I think Ferrari happy with his rotation there to get a nice 200 gold bounty off that warrior.
He'll take it. I guess that's a big source of it.
Gets, yeah.
It's a big source of income for them at this point. The one bad piece of news for LGD is they've not been really getting Bloodstone charges for maybe. He's only sitting on 5 after that deny. But he's going to have a fresh Aegis most likely soon, and I think this next Aegis, this will be the one where they start looking for kills. The Zeus ulti going to hit level 2 fairly soon. The Storm will potentially even have a double damage rune around the time they walk into the pit. That should be a good window for LGD to start trying to push the advantage as they pressure up the bottom lane. Looks like they may take this tower uncontested.
Yeah, Ferrari comes in, throws out the Mystic Snake, but the Howl comes out, and Ferrari needs to be a little bit careful here. He's tanky, but he can't take a 5-on-1. Zip forward from maybe. Zeus zapping him down with lightning, running low on mana. There's an egg very far forward in the lane. Even a swap back, nowhere for Ferrari to go. And he will be isolated and brought down. Lycan gets credit for the kill. Great use of the egg from Yao to cut off his retreat path and limit his options there. Now they'll get this tier 2 tower, though in the mid lane, some pushing is happening. Burning moving into the tier 2. Back down bottom, it's Luo that presses forward. They will bring down the Venge as a finger from Chuan comes out. Maybe will zip away. They're trying to drain his mana, but he will make it out. Now the tower finally falls. It will be Sylar that claims the last hit.
No global available for IG in that fight, and for 430, late on the magic stick. Couldn't get off his ultimate because of it. By the time he popped it, it was too late. Had taken too much damage with the mana shield on and lost that extra bit of mana he needed. He may have died anyway, but it's rare to see a Deuce and not even get off her Stone Gaze in a team fight. Perhaps Sylar mana burned her as well. I didn't see when the Necro 3 was used, but well, however it turns out, it is going to be another freebie Roche. It seems like Bernie has decided it's time for him to do some heavy lifting.
Wow.
He goes Battle Fury, which...
I was thinking that would be a Shadow Blade for pickoffs, but he goes for the big farming tool.
Yeah, I don't think
Very interesting.
Shadow Blade is much more of a play from ahead item, I feel, and
Yeah.
IG... It is a close gold and experience game. It's not like they're horribly behind, but it definitely doesn't feel like they're ahead in terms of momentum right now.
Yeah, no, you're certainly right. I mean, I was thinking the Shadow... I was under the impression of Shadow Blade, okay, maybe he's going to try to pick off Zeus, look for some of these solo pickoffs, just farm the supports, but the Battle Fury Jug, you really don't get to see it that often. He already has pretty good farming tools. This will let him really power farm, but I feel like Burning's already a player that tends to have slot issues. Now that you have like your third farming tool here, he's going to have some serious slot issues coming up. But sooner rather than later, Faith will bump into maybe. That's an easy pick off, and well, starting to feel a little similar to the last game. That tree getting caught by the Bat Rider. Now the Silencer is just food for the Storm if he's at all far forward.
Time to push down mid. Sylar, maybe, grouped up. 430 on the back foot here, kind of forced to sit back behind the tower. Luo's trying to protect him. Do they really want to jump the Dusa? They're trying to bait IG in without overcommitting to anything, but Burning's just going to take this time to split push. He'll push in the top lane, the Mask of Madness Battle Fury Jug. Very quick to take down towers, and just shows himself for a brief moment, peeks out, and that's going to force a retreat from Sylar and the rest of the LGD squad. They will back off, and you know, this may be the way the game develops from here, with Burning just constantly on the split push. There's really no way for LGD to stop that Blade Fury TP, as long as he's quick on it. And soon enough, he'll have a Manta, so even if they get a Storm Orchid, he'll still have a solution for that. Thus, I think this could be the tool, and more and more wards being plopped down here.
The double sentry. Don't worry, guys, I got it. Oh, biscuits. We double sentry'd a nothing. So that's just unfortunate for IG here. It just keeps getting worse. They're still hanging in there, though. The golden experience graph's not too far out of control. But we'll see what IG do here. I guess their plan is just turtle up, really try to power farm on this Jug, and just win through superior farming. Do what Burning does best. He's got 2,200 gold. I'm curious how he'll itemize from here, though. Maybe a Scotty could be what he looks at next. I think Abyssal Blade will definitely be an item he needs to pick up at some point, though probably a bit later on.
Yeah, in the near future, I think the biggest issue will be if maybe gets an Orchid and is able to jump him before he manages to Blade Fury. So maybe Manta first and then Scotty. Yeah. But Scotty right away is still decent. It does help you survive a bit. It partially depends on what direction maybe wants to go. For now, sitting on 2,500 gold, has not spent anything in some time.
Yeah, smoked up with his buddies here as they rotate through this Radiant jungle. Aegis up for only 2 more minutes. Sylar had a lot of gold and thought he might go BKB, but he picks up a Reaver. Looks like Heart of Tarask, nice and early here, will be the item for him. And already turned into a bit of a beefcake with 2,100 HP.
All right. Siege Engine Sylar incoming. Could be a Satanic, I suppose, but more likely we'll see the Heart with the Vlad's already picked up.
Yep. LGD are hungry for blood, though, man. They are staying aggressive. It looks like they really want to make good use of this Aegis. A double damage rune on Storm Spirit as well. It's a great time to fight, but IG have pretty good positioning for now. Ferrari moves into this camp. Look at all these aggressive wards down from the Dire side. They'll see Faith walk over. They ping him out. They might find Ferrari here as well. There's the ultimate from Zeus. Vortex onto Faith. He may be the first to go down. Global before Yao can get into the egg form. And they will trade 1-for-1. Silencer for Phoenix. Not the clean kill they wanted.
It's only a level 3 electric vortex, and he's almost level 14. If that's level 4, I believe they kill him before he gets off the global there. That's just damn unfortunate for LGD.
Yeah.
It ends up being a 1-for-1, and they do force out the global, so it's not a terrible fight, but it could have been a lot bigger. If he pops the supernova in the middle of 4 heroes like that,
Yeah.
I think we just see maybe go to town and collect like 3-4 kills easily. That was very close to being a disaster for IG.
Yeah, definitely. Here we go. It's not done yet. Ferrari gets jumped on by Maybe, uses the Manta style straight away. The Centaur comes in, stuns him up from all the illusions. Now it's Sylar joining the party. He's in the ultimate form. He's got the Necro units. He wanted Ferrari, but sees the Lion and just chomps him down, burning. Uses his ultimate, but jumps around to all the other creeps nearby, does very minimal damage. It's one of the great things about the Lycan versus Jug with the Wolves and the Necro units. It's hard to get off that ideal Omni Slash in a team fight such as that.
Well, time to siege. Tower's gonna fall. LGD, do they want to go high ground now? Global's on cooldown, Omni's on cooldown, Echo's on cooldown, and Stonegaze is about to come online. I think they at least chip here. I don't know if they fully commit, but they'll try for burning. Pola comes in, Zeus ulti deployed. Not the kill that they were looking for. Now 430 gets in front. He's going to Stonegaze Sylar. This allows Burning to go to work, but now the counter initiation comes up from your egg. They got to kill it quickly. They get the kill. They bring down the Phoenix, but they lose the Dusa as the trade. Complete airball impale from Chuan.
Very worth it for LGD. Again, great positioning on the egg. We'll see MMY get left behind. Yao, okay. Or not Yao, rather. Luo makes it happen. There's the power of that Shaker with some good farm. Sets it up, and the 1-for-1 turns into a 1-for-2.
And an immediate smoke. They're hunting towards Maybe now. They don't have a global. They do have their Echo Slam ready soon. And, you know, by the way, this Shaker's farm is very impressive. 4-step and Blink out. He's really caught up nicely after a slightly slow start. And now they're going to find Xiao 8. He walks into 3. Surprise. Goodbye. And already Chuan's hunting for a 4th. He pings out the top lane, but Storm back to the base. So with those extra 2 kills, all of a sudden, a great little fight for IG.
Yeah, now the Storm does not opt for the aggressive choice in that Orchid as we talked about. He goes for the BKB, so wants to make sure he can stay alive in these fights. An interesting choice, a little more defensive, but always a good item to have on the Storm Spirit. I really feel like Luo has done a good job on this Phoenix, though. It seems like his Supernovas are constantly in that situation of damned if you do, damned if you don't, where focus me, and that means you're working on me and not protecting your core, as we saw in that last fight. Or even as we saw at down bottom a few skirmishes ago, well, you can run into my egg and get stunned by the Supernova, or you can go the other way and run into all my teammates. Pick which one you want. Either way, you're going to the grave, Medusa. That's what's happening here, and it's just been on point. I called him Luo. Why am I confusing Luo and Yao at this point, LD? Still,
they have 3-letter names. I guess that's
caffeine
why.
to kick in, but whoa, maybe hops onto Chuan, finds the kill there, and BKB proven to be pretty damn effective. Luo tries to TP out, and he'll make it.
Oh, it was nighttime. He just didn't quite have the vision. He saw the general direction the Shaker took. Very unfortunate. He BKBs, and then like a half second later, the global comes out. If that's the other way, if he BKBs right after the global, he gets 2 kills. Instead, it's only a Lion. And that is a very important 10-second BKB charge down the train. It's still nice for LGD, but it could have been a lot uglier. And, I mean, killing the Shaker is a big deal. He is not your traditional support Earthshaker. This guy is a beefcake carrying around a lot of the net worth for IG and also a critical part of their team fight and general ability to engage.
I was thinking, wow, he must have a big streak to his name, but nope, he's still 0-0. He's got 6 assists. He's been pretty active, but actually not really worth too much as a kill in terms of that bounty. So that is one good thing for Luo. He's played this kind of support style pretty effectively here. They'll get a kill on that ward on the high ground, so more vision control going the way of IG, at least these wards deep in their territory. 8 to 10 in 30 minutes. Feels like it's been more kills than that. It's LGD holding on to a gold lead of about 3K net worth. Experience very minorly in favor of IG, but really not by a hell of a lot. Still a damn even game here, LD. IG are staying pretty quiet and hanging in there. Their cores are getting big and bad. There's a full Scotty up on the Deuce now, and Burning has an ultimate orb, the beginnings of a Scotty of his own.
Both teams are farming really well. It looks like IG's core's farming a little bit better. LGD with the better supporting cast, with the Zeus as well as Phoenix both fat, and even the Venge at least moderately farm, whereas IG have this very sacrificial lamb style silencer. So a very close game. Really one that could go either way. In terms of late game, I think it's a case where, given how, if the silencer was farmed, then I would feel like maybe IG just have it late with, you know, that refresher silencer, but at the rate he's farming, he's not going to it, so I think it's a very open game, and
yeah,
with the Storm constantly getting an Aegis, it gives LGD a lot of comfort moving around the fights. He's up to 11 Bloodstone charges. I don't really know how IG could test the Roche. They're going to try for it. They do have their Blink Initiation, but constantly walking into these LGD wards, even with the gem. They try to get some map control back now, but Faith is an easy target if he gets scouted out here.
Yeah, pretty long Roche respawn, but it looks like LGD know exactly what they want, and it's another Aegis of the Immortal. They'll group up around the pit, and IG, can they contest this if they want to? They do have a ward down on their side of the river. They will get some vision of Xiao Wei. He pops forward, sees the ward, and ooh, that baby's at full duration. They'll get it taken out, and I'm sure they're suspicious that LGD may be in the Roche pit, but now I don't think they'll dare venture over.
So risky. They're down. They don't have their tier 2 mid anymore. If they go into the pit, blow a fight, use up the global and some of their other big spells, how do they defend high ground against Sylar? Assault Cuirass is almost done. As much as IG want to contest, they can't do it head on like that. So they most likely are just going to have to sack this one and just hope for the high ground defense.
Third Roche now, so this is Aegis and Cheese. It's a big one, and now LGD just moves straight in. Zeus pops his ultimate to check the positioning of the Radiant side, sees they're on the other side of the map, and they will indeed commit to the pit. Looks like IG won't really get too much out of it, other than some farming space on a couple of their cores. Burning very close to his Scotty now, as he's been continuing to utilize that Battle Fury. Storm grabs the Aegis, and Cheese, I reckon, will go over to the Lycan. Yep, certainly will.
All right. Do LGD try to break the base now? They're going to have an Assault Cuirass on Sylar, maybe. Not particularly close to his next item, it doesn't look like. No components for a Hex, which I imagine is the choice. It's a bit late to be going. Actually, it's quite late to be going for an Orchid, so if they want to farm for this Aegis, then they probably don't. They maybe get one item out of it. I'm thinking perhaps they could cobble together the Hex, but that's going to be about it. There's a mech flying out now for your Phoenix.
Yeah.
I guess they'll take the low-hanging fruit here. They go for the tier 2 top. I'm really wondering if they try to break the base with this, because it feels like a great time to try.
They may want to wait for the Assault Cuirass on Lycan. He's got the Hyperstone, 2,700 gold. Yeah, he's just about there. And that is definitely one big item that's worth waiting for. Everything else, as you pointed out, they're in a pretty good spot. And IG getting scary, but still not really at that critical mass point. I think you have a go at it. And the glyph will not be used on this tier 2. Smart play from IG to save it for the high ground is
they're not waiting.
Charge and strike for the base. LGD, rather.
This could come back to haunt them. They're up against a Dusa. Oh, big jump in to start up the fight. Tex does come the other way, maybe, but he's got a BKB and an Aegis. He could dive deep for the Shaker, who force staffs himself practically back to the fountain, maybe, to chase them. But now his BKB is down and he's out of mana. Was that really worth it? They did force out the global. LGD may just want to back off, heal up, and come right back and push again. With this global on cooldown, this could be their window. Now the AC's up. No global for 100 seconds. They got plenty of time to make a play.
Yeah, they may just want to wait out Storm's BKB. That'll be up in about 45 seconds. Gives them a good minute window where they can take a fight. No global silence available, and that's a big opportunity. Now, will LGD try to hit that close timing is a totally different question. They will rotate back towards the mid lane here and just clear out the creep waves, get some momentum moving towards the Radiant base without any outer towers remaining. It's nothing but tier 3 for them to focus on. They also forced out the glyph in that fight, which is important to note.
Scouted out mid. Storm not in position just yet. He's closing in on a zip, but now at 430, safely back on the high ground. Here we go. Let the siege commence.
MMY invisibility rune on. They don't know how forward he is. There's the swap onto 430. A beautiful setup. Luo comes in with a fissure. It helps break up the fight, but 430 still in a very forward position. Omni Slash bouncing around. Gets the kill on the Venge. Lycan wants to dive the base for the Lion, but can't quite get it. These Force Stabs really helping out the Radiant side. Now the reinitiation. The slam dunk, but it's not enough. Luo goes down. The Supernova goes through. No! The Phoenix gets finished off just at the end. Buyback from the Shaker. Now the Silencer falls. LGD still looking okay in this fight, but they lose the Sylar. Now they lose the Aegis. They commit just a little bit too deep, and maybe will get stunned up. They time it right. He'll zip around, and then he makes it out of the base. Oh, LGD.
Oh, very close to tracking him down there.
Wow.
They got nothing except a Shaker buyback.
Yeah.
How did it go so poorly for them? That was... part of it was Sylar dove a lot. They did not manage to bring down the Earthshaker. He got off a really nice Echo Slam. And again, this Madness Manta Scotty Jug is basically solo killing the egg. Burning just right-clicking it instantly as soon as the Supernova goes off. And I'm pretty sure there might have been one other auto attack from a teammate, but it was basically all Burning. And I feel if they just get off one good Supernova in any of these recent team fights, it's a romp for LGD, but they seem consistently unable to find it. Maybe that's where Yao should consider a Blink Dagger. I know we've seen Universe go for that. A few other Phoenix players, Ice, I believe, has. It doesn't work so well in the mid lane because there's not really any good cliffs to use or tree lines to abuse to your advantage, but
yeah,
that is a costly fight, Andrew. Not so much the golden experience, although that certainly matters, but blowing the Aegis on the Storm, it takes the wind out of your sails if you're LGD.
Yeah, no, the one good thing for LGD is Storm didn't die the second time, so he still has those 13 Bloodstone charges, Ultimate Orb up, 2,900 gold. He's closing in on that Hex, so not all bad for the Storm Spirit. I feel like this Phoenix is a little bit of a make it or break it. That one was kind of a close call. He probably still had another second or so, maybe two, before the Nova would go off. If he had gotten a Supernova there, that would have been a completely different fight, but easier said than done, and part of the reason I'm kind of curious why they opted to push the mid lane. It seems like when you have a Phoenix and that's such a key ultimate that there's just a natural advantage from utilizing the side lanes, kind of like you were mentioning, and saving mid for last or a time when you have some sort of an obvious advantage. That's something they just didn't need to dive that much. I think you can afford to sort of slow siege a little bit, use your units, your Lycan Wolves to chip at the tower, and see if you can get IG to come out of the base a bit too far. Diving in past near to the tier 4s, I guess, for Chuan. Just not the right call for the Lycan. He wasted too much time in his ultimate form, chasing down the Lion, who he never ended up killing anyhow.
Yeah, I wonder if Sylar needs BKB here. It feels like part of the issue for him is he can't just go latch onto a target, but how good is BKB? You've got...
What about a Basher or Abyssal instead, so we could just jump on somebody and lock him down? I guess you still have the Force Staff that can kind of mess with you.
That's the big thing. IG have been kiting really well with these two Force Staffs. Oh, they find maybe.
Uh-oh, they hit him with an Echo, hit him with a finger, and, well, Burning will find an easy kill on the Storm, and say goodnight to some of your Bloodstone charges. That knocks him back down to 8, and it's a mega kill streak that goes the way of the Juggernaut. So he's got 4,000 gold now after picking up this Scotty just not that long ago.
Haven't we seen this before? Burning, starts off 4th, 5th, even the one match in Major All-Stars, like towards the bottom of the net worth charts, and then he just starts climbing. One ladder at a time, one camp at a time, a kill here or there, and what do you know? All of a sudden, the most farmed hero on the map, yet to die, just piling in the gold, and it's getting gross at this point. He's pretty out of control. Abyssal would be the next natural item, but it's LGD's turn to finally make a smoke play. Can they get something done? They scout the wrong direction from him. Why they do manage to find Luo, though. That is a dieback. He's dead for 70 seconds on the Shaker, but they don't have the creep wave pushed in mid. The towers that are damaged are top and mid. Unfortunately for LGD, this kill is not going to lead to a big objective.
Exactly. For IG, I think they're pretty okay with their Shaker getting picked off there. He doesn't have an Echo Slam anyway, so even if they have to take a fight, not too much the Shaker can offer relative to someone like the Lion. He'll have his finger cooling down here in just about 20 seconds. You can actually find a pick off. So, unfortunate, but could have been a lot worse. With
barrel down mid.
Into enemy jungle. Yeah, no. Oh, no, Glyph has cooled down. This feels very risky from LGD, though. They need to be very tactful about this.
just the stone gaze alone is going to stall them close until that respawn, and then you throw the glyph on top. Yeah.
They won't even go for it. They make the right call here. Zeus, though, does pick up his Aghanim Scepter. That's a pretty big pickup for Xiao 8. That Hand of Might is really starting to show some return. We're getting to that stage of the game where the Zeus is making his resurgence and can do a lot of damage in these team fights.
Yeah, as it goes late, it feels like the key for LGD is going to be using this Storm Zeus combo to just instantly kill someone, because else it seems there's just way too much stuff flying around for Sylar to get anything done. He can't run in against Dusa, even with the BKB. He'll still be kited and controlled, and he could still be Omni-slashed, and that maybe the refresher is the big item LGD will be waiting for. If that's what they want to wait for, though, it's going to be a little while. He's just now completed the Axe, as you mentioned, so a ways to go before the refresher dream can be realized.
I mean, he may be able to grab it before this game ends, but you really want to give IG that much time to recover here and let the Dusa and Juggernaut get that much more scary. I mean, the Dusa has a Butterfly now, another 3,300 gold to spare, so she can start looking towards a big, hard-hitting item coming up next. And Burning still hasn't invested any of that money, but now past the 5k threshold. How's our Silencer doing? Now, still not that great. Faith still lowest on net worth by a big margin, only 3.4k. He's picked up a Ghost Scepter to go with his Tranquil Boots, but nothing else.
Yeah, this is just brutal. It's a great value item, of course, and I imagine the next pickup is going to be that Force Staff. Any ambitions of a refresher Aghanim-style Silencer, if he gets them, it's only because IG start turning this game and are already on the comeback. It's not going to be the item that turns the game around, but that's okay. They have other heroes that can turn fights. A lot of good counter initiation, good buyback heroes. We already saw the Shaker buyback making a big difference. And obviously Dusa, a great hero to punish an overextension. Okay, Aegis number 4. Is this the Aegis? Is this it?
Is this the Aegis? That is the million-dollar question. Cheese on the ground. It will go to MMY this time, as now slots becoming an issue for these primary cores. And Lycan, he's aging his Cheese. He's still holding on to that last one. Didn't get to use it in that big team fight. So now double Cheese and Aegis for this dire side. They've actually given the second Cheese to Storm. If they can't do it with 2 Cheeses and an Aegis, I'm not sure if they can do it at all, LT. I mean, this is a pretty big advantage to have.
Oh, it's tough for LGD. It feels like a big advantage, double Cheese and Aegis, but I just look at the net worth, man, and I don't know. That rubber band. It's just one fight, and it won't even be an even game if LGD get wiped. It'll probably be IG, like a solid 3 to 5k up on them, because they're almost certainly going to take at least 1 tower after winning such a fight, if not 2.
I mean, there's a tier 1 down bottom. I'm sure that'll fall if somebody just looks at it.
Oh, there's a tier 1. Yeah, so maybe it's 2 or 3 towers then. They could even just clean out these LGD towers, and you can see why LGD are so hesitant. This game can fall apart with 1 failed push. They are going to head for top, though. Interestingly, Yao is sitting on 3,000 gold. I don't really think a Phoenix buyback is going to be very useful here. He's
probably pulling for Shivas, I would imagine.
Yeah. I still feel like the Blink Dagger into the trees is a nice way to play it as your Phoenix.
Yeah.
We have yet to see a single good egg. If he gets a single good egg, I think they have a very strong shot at cracking the base. But
we've seen a couple well-placed eggs, but we haven't seen any key supernovas actually explode into a stun. Right. He's had a couple good zoning eggs. Got to give him some credit there. But in these team fights, I don't think he's actually gotten one off yet that hasn't resulted in a...
Yeah, that's a good, important correction. It's not like the placement's been awful, but he has not gotten them off either. And
yeah,
they need that extra lockdown. They are very light on team fight control, and they're up against Shaker Dusa. Just massive AoE that it's very difficult to fight into.
So LGD being rather tactful about this. This really is not an easy push. Now BKBs coming out for IG. Fresh 10-second BKBs on both the Juggernaut and the Medusa.
And now
neither of them have been revealed yet either.
And now they're going to be tempted to go push in mid because that lane is already near their base. And there's no tier 3. Or tier 2, rather. So a lost fight here. IG going to storm down mid. potentially.
This could be really scary. Zeus ults used. Here we go. Long range zip from Storm. He jumps onto Faith. Does the global come out? He has it. He survives long enough to use it. Now maybe he's in trouble. He gets brought down. That'll be the Aegis bringing him back up. Can Luo time this stun properly? He can. The Earth Spike is there. Maybe he gets swapped out by MMY. He's alive for now, but he's a fish. Can they cut him up and fry him? No, he'll live. Now Sylar BKB on. Tanks the entire Omni Slash. He eats the cheese. He's still alive. They get the tier 3 tower.
They can't even get a kill. IG just such a disgusting turtle lineup. Oh my goodness. Storm zips in, then Dusa ults. Nobody can get in close because they run past that Dusa. They are just gonna feed kills away. I don't know what you do anymore. I think if you're LGD, you may just have to wait for IG mistakes. They played that fight right. They used the Zeus ult. They immediately jumped the silencer to try to burst him down, because if he dies off the bat, they win the fight. Unfortunately, IG were ready for that fissure coming out. Now they may get Sylar on the retreat. No more cheese for you, sir. It's slice and dice time, and, well, time for the rubber band to snap. Mid lane can be pushed in.
Gives him the slap chop now on an unstoppable streak. That was 2 cheeses and an Aegis. An IG trade 0 for 4. Just ridiculous. Well, it's kind of 3.5, I guess. The Storm lost his Aegis, came back to life. But, I mean, just such a dominant team fight. And now, I feel like this game is almost over. Even if IG don't win off this push, they just have so much control now. What does LGD do?
They're not even bothering for those towers. Straight down the middle lane. This is the beauty of having cleared out the tier 2 earlier. And who do you go on here? There is no global, but they've got the Shaker sitting back to counter-initiate. Burning has an Omni Slash at 20, and there's no more glyph available. IG closing in on their first lane of Rax. This will be the only lane for this push as the zip comes out. Pull, where is it? BKB, now he pulls, finds Luo, brings him down, Faith's turned over instead perhaps, but Burning just hack a slash away, brings down the egg again, smacks down maybe as well. This Jug is just simply ridiculous. Now he'll chase out Xiao and they may find him too.
Nowhere for him to go. Blink Dagger on cooldown for another 4 seconds. He'll get hit by the Earth Spike. There's your hacks, and yeah, another easy kill on the Zeus. So were there any buybacks used there for the Dire? No, they still have their buybacks, but pretty crippling damage. And now Storm's down to 7 Bloodstone charges. And they're not even done yet. They'll just go for the tier 3 up top. Lycan did not have a buyback in that fight. Zeus in the grave for a minute. This is 2 lanes of barracks, and now this is pretty crippling damage. Sylar channels the ultimate, does what little he can. The range barracks will stay standing. Swap onto Burning. They might be able to find a kill here onto Burning. But the Omni Slash goes off. That buys him a little bit of extra time. He gets a kill on MMY before he goes down. It's a huge streak, picked up by the Lycan, but the damage has been done, and, well, enjoy the spoils while you can, LGD.
If you can't just close out the game with double cheese, Storm with an Aegis, Zeus to give you vision of the Silencer and the Shaker and prevent them from initiating. It was not an overwhelming lead, but this is just not an easy patch to close out games. It really is not, and I don't even think LGD pushed too early. They could have pushed in mid before they went top, just to make it a little harder for IG to go down mid, but I can't really look at that fight and feel like they did anything horribly wrong. They have to jump one of those heroes. They can't just walk in and hit the buildings, because then they open themselves up to a gigantic Echo Slam from the Shaker, and maybe they could sit back and try to swap out the Lycan if he gets jumped on. Perhaps they could try to bait him a little bit, but yeah. I really feel like it's a fine play to just jump straight onto the Silencer and the Earthshaker, and
yeah,
they just can't get the job done. IG, too good at turtling with this draft and their overall play. It's
agreed.
It's painful to watch.
I do think LGD had the right approach. So what really tipped the scales for me were those 2 BKBs. The cores picked them up right as that fight was breaking out, and sure, the Zeus ulted, but they were already pretty much committed to the fight before the BKBs were revealed, and those are just 2 huge 10-second BKB is just so important in kind of a high ground defense like that. I think it comes down to the fight before that more so, when they could have gone for the tower in the mid. Instead, they dove and tried to go for heroes rather than objectives, and that was the fight that really backfired and gave IG the power to really look so strong in that last fight.
You know, perhaps they could have tried a little rat with the Lycan, but realistically, IG can punish that. They've got Blink Force on both of their initiators, and they have the Global plus the Jug. He has now picked up a BKB for Sylar as a way to deal with some of this instant stun lockdown, but even so, if they're able to just jump him quickly, get a bash off, at some point Birdie will probably pick up an Abyssal Blade, and it's not guaranteed that Rat's going to win you this game by any means. And the other thing is then they could just try and jump the other 4 heroes if they're not careful. So perhaps LGD could have played it differently. Maybe it would have worked better, but I don't think you can look at that push and say they played like shit or they did something horribly wrong. IG just turtled really well, and they punished it. Now Refresher out for burning.
Getting to that stage of the game.
Available.
Yeah, Refresher's coming out. Zeus did find his Refresher also, so Xiaowei does have a double ultimate now. I don't believe it's been revealed yet. He's already used one of them, so he will have to refresh to use the next tier. But IG, I think they're ready to get out of this game. Medusa, she's got a Daedalus, the Refresher on burning, so he can now refresh his BKB. This is scary.
They have a ward. They see Sylar. Sylar does have a buyback available, and he's going to have to use it, man. Refresher's ready. Burning has a fresh Omni if he wants it. He's not going to use it just yet. They'll let the creeps do the heavy lifting bottom. They'll take down the tier 1 tower. Shove in all the lanes. Maybe press forward to... Oh, actually, Roche may be up. They're going to go scout that out now, but...
Well, Radiant will lose their courier. That's a little unfortunate.
Oh, man. Was that... Oh, that was the Storm that killed it off. Had the completed Manta for burning. Yeah, he was trying to be cutesy with his 7 items, but...
Yeah.
I mean, he's still scary without that Manta.
It doesn't hurt that much at this point. Sure, they get a little gold pick-me-up, but IG have most of the items they need already delivered to their heroes. Roshan will be up in about 30 seconds. IG might be able to claim this one for their own. The Lycan will be spawning actually after Roshan comes up, but I don't think IG are interested in the Aegis cheese. They just want to go straight for the base. Storm spending his money any way he can. Now picks up a Dagon. Not sure how much that'll do.
Anything to just burst down this friggin' silencer, man. Every fight, it feels like they jump him, he gets quadruple 4-step. They don't even have 4, but it just feels that way. And they just can't kill him in time. Now they're gonna ball in. There's your initiation. They do get the kill. Now hunting for Luo. Burning, not refreshing just yet. Hanging onto his Omni Slash. He's gonna charge in. There's your Refresher. Starts hacking away. Needs to Omni quickly. He gets it off. It hits creeps. And then it still bounces onto Sylar. But it's not enough to get the kill here. Now they're gonna come back for round number 2. It's a buyback of both cores. The Lycan as well as the Storm. They hold the line. It's LGD's turn to turtle and survive for now. But guess who hasn't died? It's 4:30. And it seems nobody wants a piece of this big fella. Now they'll zip in. They'll try and focus him, but he's a bit of a raid boss in his own right. They get the job done. An Ultra for maybe after the buyback. And another rush. So they hang on. But the big difference here is that LGD are not taking racks right now. They're just holding their base.
Yes, what a turn of events. 2 buybacks used there on the Storm as well as the Lycan. They get a big net worth gain out of it. IG get cleaned up. That fight started off so poorly for Maybe. He was around the backside. They killed the silencer, but like you said, he was looking for Luo, and he was completely bested. Luo tracked him down, hit him with a stun. He got killed by the finger and was forced to buy back. If Maybe didn't have a buyback there, that's your GG push. But
I do love this dig on build on. This is the solution for that Ghost Scepter. You want to be cheeky on the back lines? I'm gonna zap you.
Yep.
I love it, but...
I feel like they should just leave Silencer, like, in the well at this point. Just push with 4 heroes and just let him get off the global at the perfect time. I mean, I don't really see any way he can survive against Maybe at this point unless he is super, super far back from the fight.
Yeah, the 4 staff is a decent utility item, but I'm not sure that he needs it in these fights. It's a nice item for them to have, but a perfectly timed global can be... completely
it's just the global is so much more important than anything else Silencer's going to do in the fight. Like level 1 Curse of the Silent, get out of here. Last word, that's kind of helpful, but all of that just pales in comparison to getting the global off at the key time.
54 minutes, 22-21. This is LGD versus IG. It's a play-in match for Star Ladder Season 12. They've moved to a new venue. They're going to Bucharest, not to Kiev. Who's going to be the first Chinese team in? We're waiting with bated breath here to find out. Right now, IG hanging on to the Rax advantage, hanging on to the buyback advantage. And despite
Look at this gold graph, LD. It tells the story of this game pretty well. It's been pretty much all over the place. IG jump way into the lead, and now they start to throw it away a little bit more. It's any team's game for the taking, though. With 2 lanes of barracks down, LGD have it pretty tough.
You never know. When it gets to late game, you think a team is the edge. It just takes that one bad fight. Or that one really good fight, conversely, depending if you're an optimist or a pessimist about Dota. But
Yeah.
We'll see. I think probably for IG, they want to wait out this Aegis cheese. They could risk it just banking on the fact that there's no buybacks on the Storm and the Lycan.
Yeah.
But I only see them doing that if they see an easy opportunity. I doubt they're just going to, like, strut up to the base and risk themselves getting wrecked by the Aegis once more.
Yeah,
Here comes your move from LGD down the mid lane.
Who do they find here?
No one.
Looks like nobody. Okay, Zeus ult for scouting. Faith!
Zap him!
Gets
Zap
caught
him!
out.
They got him! Now they're hunting Luo as well! They're gonna get two! Maybe no! The Shadowblade saves him! The Zeus vision disappears!
And then Y
so
walks into
frustrating.
430 though. Now Yao comes in. 430, he's big, but is he big enough? Pops his BKB. Supernova's there. He'll try to focus the egg. I don't think that one's gonna happen. Now instead uses the Stone Gaze, swap to the low ground, still gets stunned by the Supernova. Now Burning, joining the party. Will he be able to get off his ultimate here? No, he gets bursted down. Maybe takes a finger off to the side. He's hexed up. He falls to Ferrari's frosty arrows, but he's got the Aegis of the Immortal.
Three
It's
down.
Dead Dusa. LGD taking the fight that they needed. Now Chuan falls. It's 4 for an Aegis.
They're down 2 lanes of Rax, but one of those lanes is pushing. The other is not at the base just yet. Is this the time for LGD? Is this your epic comeback? It's been a roller coaster, man, and it is starting to tip that LGD way. They still hold a cheese here. It looks like the Aegis was used up in the fight, but time to barrel down mid. Buybacks aplenty for IG. They have global. They got Echo. This could be that disastrous 5-man wipe that cost LGD the game. With no Aegis any longer, a lost fight here and a dieback on your Lycan Storm. That's all she wrote. So they're not going to roll the dice. They're going to reset, relax, and wait for these buybacks to come off cooldown. And
yeah, we're just talking about LGD. Hey, they got a nice edge right now with these buybacks. They're in trouble with these buybacks on cooldown, but now it's completely leveled out. The cores are completely even, and I still have no idea who's going to take this game. It's all down to execution and which team makes the mistake at this point, it feels like. And
it really is. It's completely up in the air. If this was a fat silencer, I would lean towards IG. Again, I think the double global just trumps a lot of what LGD brings to the table, but they don't have it, man. The dream for Faith at this point is just having buyback available. That's what he's really looking forwards to.
Just having a buyback, the dream.
Just compare him to the Zeus. The Zeus has 20k net worth. This is unbelievably good farm. I mean, to be fair, he should be compared to the Veg, but this is a fun game for Xiao 8. Still, the real fun is winning, not just farming here. Yeah. And that W is not going to be easy to come by for LGD, down 2 full lanes of Rax.
Yeah, LGD still have some safety structures around in their base. Both their tier 4s very healthy. Looks like they lost an effigy or 2, but can still afford to take a fight outside of their base. Looks like Abyssal Blades are going to be the next item around the corner. Skull Bashers up on Sylar. Still looking for that relic gold, and now Burning. Continue to build his wardrobe here. He's got the refresher. He's been toggling on and off from the Courier, and looking for the Abyssal Blade of his own, the Manta style in the Courier for now.
It's the same. They're looking just to take the one good fight where they time the global or have an interrupting echo that just messes up LGD's timing. For LGD, it's going to be exactly what we saw in that last fight as far as what they look for. Use a Zeus ult, get vision for the Storm, and then maybe just go to work. Kill off your Shaker. Try to bring down the Silencer if you can. Last time, he made it work. That Zeus Storm combo, the Lightning Gods dueling, is the reason they come out on top. But, well, it'll come down to IG's preparation. If they're able to dodge that jump and they counter-initiate, they get off an Abyssal Blade or a Lucky Bash, as you mentioned, then it could very, very easily go the other direction.
Yeah, and now the Zeus is at the point where if he just uses the double ultimate from the well, he basically kills the 2 supports.
They see Luo now. Well, they don't see him, but they do know he's in the area. They get the Blink Yules after the Zeus ult. They're going to set up here on the Shaker. Where's that zap? Give him the Dagon. Taser in the face, my friend. You're going back to the base. No buyback on the Shaker, actually. Dead for 70. I'm not even going to say is this the time, because I feel like I say that and LGD are going to 5-man wipe down mid, and
yeah. Ooh, there's the Abyssal up
this
on
could
Burning.
be an opening to try and pressure, though, if nothing else.
Yeah, that was just the first ultimate from Zeus. If he double ults, it's basically Chuan's life. If they has Ghost Scepter on, forget about it. You're dead. But even just
true.
regular. I mean, that's just how much damage the Ags Refresher Zeus does at this stage of the game. Now I think Hex is going to be his item of choice. He's got the ultimate orb, 3,900 gold. And having some more crowd control certainly bode well for LGD. Yao, he's now moved into that Shiva's Guard, another 2,500 gold up on him. And now that maybe's at the Dagon 5, he'll hold on to this cheese. I reckon BOTs may be a stop-off worthy of him coming up soon.
One thing that IG really need is a gem. I think theirs is on cooldown. Yeah, it's on cooldown for 4 minutes. They have one on the courier. I'm going to hazard a check. No, they lost the one that they had earlier. LGD sitting on 2 right now, and they're venge. MMY just wants to be a baller. Roll it around with 2 gems. Who needs a spare back in the base? Why the hell not? Just, you know, you're talking about fashion accessories. This is a great way to go. And because of that, you look at the Radiant Vision. This is not good enough. They've got the 1 ward top. That's it.
This is not good enough. It's like, oh, we've got some okay wards. I know this ward's really not doing a hell of a lot right now. And then you look at Dire Vision. Conversely, they just got this army of wards around the Roche pit. They've got 5 wards down right now.
It feels like slight overkill, but their coverage of any movement in like even the general direction of Roche is ridiculous. You want to go for a cute little wraparound? Not gonna happen. And
here we go, LD. The Big Papa makes the big pickup. 430 goes for the Divine Rapier.
They're about to scout it with the Wolves. If they're paying attention, they're gonna see it now. Does this affect the game plan? On to Fate they go. Quick zip in for maybe. Now back to 430. Abyssal though, swamped out, kept alive. The Omni Slash bounces. They can't get the kill now. Down goes your Venge, chasing forward with the egg. Shall we try to hang on? Round 2 for Burning. Slapping down the egg will bring down the Phoenix. Shall we? On the run. 1, 2, 3, 4, and they got him with the Abyssal. He's out. Maybe. Hex could be in trouble. Impale follow-up. Fissure to go. Echo coming on through. Enchant Totem. Is it enough? Bloodstone? He can't get it off. He turns for the taser. They will buy back here on the Phoenix, but it's just so back and forth in these fights. That fight, they got the bash off. Or actually, no, it was the first Abyssal on the Storm, and completely turns the fight.
That felt like a perfect initiation from LGD. They blew up the silencer, they jumped on the Dusa, and then the Rapier happened. Ferrari stood his ground, did huge damage, and they punish LGD. And IG will get a little momentum back off that. But what's the play here?
Did they lose their double gem is my other question.
Let's see here. The Lion died, he bought back.
Oh, there's 2 gems. There's 2 gems just chill.
Just hanging out.
Why would you walk around with both gems? I mean, I guess at this point they figure they lose a big fight. They're probably losing the game anyway, but let's see. No buyback on Burning or 430 for 40 seconds. Buybacks were used on the Phoenix and the Lion. And looking across the Dire side, they've got a buyback on, I would say they're 3 cores. At this point, your Phoenix is more of the, well, definitely more of the 4 position in terms of net worth, but...
Look at this play here, LD. The smoke in the top lane. The barracks are already down. This is what you wouldn't expect. Maybe he zips right into it. Hook, line, and sinker. The global comes out this time. No swap to save him. Storm dies, buys back right away. And now he zips right back in. Wants another kill. He takes a lot of damage straight away. He goes on to Chuan, but Luo's there. BK Beyond keeps maybe okay. Ferrari out of mana, but he has the Stone Gaze. Sylar gets turned into stone. Now Ferrari swap back onto the low ground with the split shot cutting through LGD. Now Sylar in big trouble. He'll fall. He's got the buyback, uses it straight away, but the LGD team in big trouble. Burning still alive. Blade Fury's away, and now it's IG that take the fight. They won't win off this, but they do a lot of damage. Burning still alive. LGD moved too far out of their base. A dunk onto Zeus. Now the rest of LGD relegated back to the well. No. Sylar stunned up. It's a die back for the Lycan. One more auto attack. Oh, they'll find it. There it is.
Got him. LGD up against it now. How do they hold? How could they possibly survive the onslaught coming their way? IG low, but galloping onwards towards the throne. Your fish are forcing now back into the goddamn well, and they're not done just yet, shall we? Go back to your base. Go cry to mama.
Rapier.
Rapier does fall. Who's gonna grab it? It's Chuan. He salvages it. He takes it back to safety. Can't even use it, but that's okay. It looks like it's throne time, and with no Lycan, no Storm, this looks to be the end for LGD. They turtled. They crawled into their shell, and they didn't leave until they were good, darn, and ready. But eventually, when IG came out, they had the answers here. One final smoke gank to rule them all, and with that, they go at our Season 12. They will be at the LAN Finals in Romania.
Juan, very excited here, spamming out the Gs. What an intense series. After game one, we were like, well, this could be a quick 2-0. Looks like IG's the better team. Game two, they level it out. And that game three was a nail-biter till the bitter end. Anyone's game for the taking. And what a smart play from IG. They smoke into a lane where they already had the barracks down. And maybe just fell for it straight away. They had the buybacks. And well, IG just had superior resources. What a series, but congrats to IG. Moving on to Star Ladder, and we'll see him at the LAN Finals.
Oh, that game might give some people heart attacks, and my heart goes out to LGD. That is one of the most painful ways you could ever lose a game. They did everything right after the laning stage. They secured 3 Roshans. They dewarded the entire map. They got their Zeus nice and fat. The Storm was farmed. He had every single Aegis. The Lycan got the best siege items he could. They just couldn't crack the base. IG were an impregnable fortress, and oh, now they have to face VG Gaming. They did beat them 2-1 last time, but somehow I have this feeling that it's gonna be a tougher match for LGD this time around. And how heartbreaking would it be if they end up not qualifying for LAN after just being so close here in game number 3?
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a very interesting lower bracket finals tomorrow, and that will be the final series of the Starladder China qualifiers here for Starladder Season 11. And the time on that, LD, I've got my schedule right here. It should be tomorrow at 17 SGT, same start time we had today. So just like that, another season of Starladder gets one step closer to the LAN Finals.
Oh, awesome.